Okay, family, I'm back at it again with another food for action moment. Now, this right here is going to be me taking you down a rabbit hole. Now, if you ever wanted to know how I think, how I look at online marketing, how I look at affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call it, the way my mind works and how you can actually use my way of thinking to create a, you know, a massive business, a fun, creative online business that possibly nobody else is thinking about and something that can be your own, then I want you to stay till the end of this video. Let's get into it. So, as you know, I love using one of my favorite tools, which is simply the new tab section. So, I open up my browser and I use, Explorer. And Explorer has a lot of articles, a lot of news stories. Some things, more helpful than others. But as I always say, for the person with the right mindset, you can find value in just about anything. And if you have the right mindset, you can turn just about anything into a fun and profitable business. So this is how I started out. I pulled up the tab, right? And I'm looking at the different stories. And one story particularly, stuck out to me. So I scrolled down just a section and I noticed this right here. It says Chinese humanoid robot leader soars in market debut despite US ban. Now, that right there might not be interesting to the average person, but me, it was very interesting because it's talking about something that's going to be very, very big currently and in the near future. And we know that it's going to be big by simply the title itself. So it says right here, robot leader soars in market debut. This means that soon as it hit the market, soon as it hit, the pages of the news, their stock basically soared. So I had to click on this particular article and it led me to here. So once again, you see the title, Chinese humanoid robot leader soars in market debut despite US ban. So this was just posted about 3 hours ago. So this is fresh off the press, right? So as we scroll down, we get some information. And, a lot of this stuff here is so valuable. And I want you to pay attention. It's not, you know, some people it might be boring, but information is power. And the way you apply it and the way you're able to use the information will make you powerful. So it says Singapore, a pioneering Chinese maker of humanoid robots, soared 460% in its trading debut. 460%. That is massive. Now, there's other products and services and other things that I've seen that debuted and they might have soared in, let's say, 1,000% and things like that. So, even though this number seems massive, you know, it's up there, but it's not the most we've ever seen before. But it does indicate that this is something that people are taking notice of. So they say men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? So this number right here reflects the thinking and the mindset of, a certain select few people, right? A massive amount of people, right? So it says in Shanghai, so to achieve a market value of $51 billion, okay, another big number, 51 billion, not million, but billion. This right here is something that indicates that, this isn't a small game. This is something that, there's a lot of money being put behind it. And when there's a lot of money being put behind something, that means there's a lot of people investing in it that have trust and belief in the particular product and service. And most times, these people that are investing billions of dollars into products and services, they're doing their own due diligence. Now, you yourself personally don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be the one that's doing all the research, finding out every tidbit, every part, every, this, that, or the third that's going into a particular product or service. But the numbers will indicate to you that, hey, this is a big industry. There's a lot of money being invested. And when money is being invested in something, that means that there's a lot of research behind it. There's a lot of back and forth. For me, let's say thinking logically, if one company invests $1 billion into a product or service, and it's, let's say it's not their product or service, it's a product or service of someone else, then in order for me to give you that type of money, that means that, you've given me a really good reason, that you sent me over documents, that you showed me, examples, prototypes, whatever it is. I've had my team cross reference and look at it and say, okay, well, this right here actually works. This right here, we have questions about this. Can you answer these questions? And if you answer the questions in the way that, is suitable to us, then we are willing to give you the investment capital. So there's people that have done the research already. That's what this right here says. Yes, it's a dollar amount, but it says a lot. It gives a lot of information. So it says value of $51 billion, symbolizing the frenzy around an industry Beijing hopes to dominate. So a whole, you know, industry, they plan on dominating it. So it says here, Unitree Robotics is the first humanoid maker to list in mainland China and stands at the forefront of the geopolitical competition between Washington and Beijing. Last month, the U.S. banned most imports of new humanoid robot models, citing an immediate national security threat. So we're going to stop reading the article right there because we have enough information to go off of. This right here, just this section here, is powerful. Now we've just added a new layer of information. It says Unitree Robotics. That's the particular company, right? That's the particular company that has made this possible. The first humanoid maker to list in mainland China. So usually, if you're first to market, that means that you have the opportunity to take over an industry. You get the opportunity to get, the big investments. People are throwing money at you, and you're able to use that to develop and grow. And then, maybe, later on down the line, you'll have other competitors. Somebody might look at what you're doing and say, okay, I can do a little bit better. And then they'll come into play and they might get, billions of dollars in investments from other people that want to invest in their company because they see what this pioneering company did and how they got started and how they moved the needle, right? So now the world has proof. Sometimes the first person through the door is the one that takes the arrow, takes the shots, takes all of the headache, and takes all of the challenges and questioning from people. And then they have to be the ones to prove, hey, this is something that's here to stay. And then other people will start kicking in the door behind them saying, okay, now we can all rush in. So keep that in mind also. But usually the first to market stands the chance to dominate for a long time. I want you to think about in the AI world, Chat GPT, OpenAI, one of the first to market. Now, of course, there's been other competitors to come out since, but Chat GPT or OpenAI is still at the forefront. You might like or love another competitor a little bit better, and they're getting their money too. They're growing fast at a fast pace, but still, OpenAI is one of those premier names that when they mention AI, it's going to be mentioned. It's either going to be mentioned as the number one or the number two. So keep that in mind. Use all the information that you have at your disposal already to make a better informed decision, right? So we have this information. Now, what we want to do with it? Now, we want to take the company name, Unitree Robotics, right? And that leads us to the next step. So I did a search, Unitree, and we see these different robots and things like that. So look, it has this $2,590 on Amazon.com, right? Got Alibaba, $5,900. Look at this. Alibaba again, $16,000. Now these are different models, as you can see. Unitree R1, Unitree uh, G1, and so these are different models. But I want you guys to keep in mind, we're here in the US. So if you're watching and you're here in the US, then keep in mind what you also read in that article. You read in the article that, you know, the US has banned most imports of new humanoid robot models. So this is on you. It's on you to find out, okay, they banned most of them. So what did they actually allow in? Because they're citing it as an immediate national security threat. So I want you to do this. I want you to also do your research. What imports, what humanoid imports are allowed in the United States? Now, this being available on Amazon, as it says, and I didn't even click this link. So let me just click this just to open it up, just to see, because this will allow us to know. And it says here, if I was to order this robot, it would be able to get to me between September 14th and the 22nd. So that lets me know that, okay, they know that I'm here in the US. Amazon, you know, they here in the US. So they telling me that this robot would be shipped to my home, right? Okay. So we know that obviously this isn't one that's banned in the US. So this company might be good to go. So let's go back to the search page. And we start seeing some information. So we start seeing some news. So Chinese robotics giant Unitree surged as much as 629% in its blockbuster market debut. And that's from a news source, MSN. So all of these sources, news sources, have already started to jump out and give their perspective. 18 hours ago, 8 hours, 1 hour ago. So it's something that's really trending. But then we go down here. We want to actually go to this right here, the direct website of the particular company. So as you can see, it's highlighted already because I clicked on the link to take us there. So looking at the site, you see they have a great site, website that gives information, and it talks about all of the things that, you know, goes into this particular company. It shows the various different models. So they have a few different models. And as we've seen from the pricing, there's a lot of, you know, there's a big variation in how much these, you know, robots actually cost, right? So if we go back here once again, you see the price range anywhere from 2,500 to, damn, you got the G1 listed on here, 25,000, almost $26,000. And then damn, you see this one right here, $43,900. So the Maverick G1. So all of these different models that do different things. Now, somebody's making these purchases. Somebody's making the purchases of them. Somebody's doing a research to find out information on them. And there's a lot of people that's, you know, searching this particular site, gathering information about it, whatever, you know, interests them. And then it shows here the partners slash customers. So these are some well-known companies, of course. And for the most part, there's a lot of, you know, well-known companies that you know of here in the US. So you got Nvidia, Facebook, Google, Samsung, DHL. And so these other ones I'm not really too familiar with, but you know, they might be worth researching. So you scroll down to the bottom, you see that they have all kinds of other information here. This is right here for you know, the, I guess, hey, no disrespect, because I'm one of them, for like the nerds that would actually look and find out, hey, looking here, you got component section. So bionic robot joint motor. Hmm. That's that's a key word. That's a major keyword. And that will be a ongoing major keyword. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. I want you to start looking at the information, not just seeing crazy stuff, not just seeing weird acronyms, but looking at it and seeing how can these things become valuable to you. Because usually, I want you to think about it this way. Where I'm from, you know, we use certain slang, we use certain lingo. So a person might say something and they might come up with a new slang and it spreads around the town, spreads around the state, it spreads around the country. And then you hear people saying it and it becomes popular. And then, you go to some other neighborhoods and the person never even heard of it before. They never even heard of this term. They like, yo, what does that mean? So there's going to be people that know of things and people that don't know of things. And when they hear the term, they're going to want to know, hey, what exactly does that mean? They might not necessarily want to ask the person that they heard it through, what does that mean? They might just hear it in passing or whatever, and then they're going to do their research. So the same thing applies to everything from low level to high level details, from something as simple as a slang term that has now become popular around the country and then spread around the world. Electronic, company name, Unitree. That name right there might be popular in the tech world now, but the rest of the world is yet to understand and know what it is that they have to offer. But as the news spreads, people start learning more. And then they'll start wanting to know, hey, what is a AS2? That little acronym right there will start to become a powerful keyword. GO2. What does that mean? The component section. Once again, so a brushless digital servo SV1 25. Okay, that's not a common everyday word. Now, companies and individuals, they might find that this is an interesting term. This is a component that helps the robot do this, that, and the third. And they want to know everything about the robot to make a better informed decision as to if they're going to buy it. Now, this is a keyword. This is a major keyword. So this is what I want you to start putting together. I want you to start thinking about how can you use this information to your benefit. And it might require you to do something that traditionally you're not taught to do. And if you're in a regular traditional online marketing business, hey, I'm gonna be honest. Your coach, your trainer, or whoever it is, they might keep things so basic and simple. And they might say, hey, this is the best way to go about things. And they don't want to get too in depth, too high level. And they say, hey, just post content on your social media. Just do this, that, and the third. Just post and say, hey, join me on this training, blah, 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 whatever it is. But they might not give you the added information needed to make you stand out, to make you valuable. What if you were to create an article strictly about brushless digital servo SV1 25? Now, today, it might not be such a powerful keyword because not a lot of people might even think about researching it. But maybe in the next week, the next month, as the stories start to circulate, right? As the story here starts to circulate, as the stories here start to circulate, and then as people start to get more familiar with the name of the company Unitree, whether they're here in the US or think about it, all around the world, because your backyard isn't the only backyard on the planet. Your little circle, your little sphere of influence isn't the only, thing on the planet. There's billions of people on the planet and there's different countries and continents and everything. So don't just make yourself a local entrepreneur, a local influencer, a local online marketer. But once when people start searching and researching this stuff, what are they going to do? They're going to go down the same rabbit hole, the same corridors that we just went down. They're going to go to the company's website. And this information right here isn't just here for no reason. It's not here just as a pretty design. It's not a fancy picture. This is a source of information. This right here is designed to attract people that are interested in learning more about these products and services and this company, whether they're looking to purchase or they're looking to invest or learn more about this company. And what if, let's say, for example, we click on this, something that we never even heard of. Where does it take us? So what is this? Unitree brushless digital servo. Compact and designed for embodied intelligence applications. Wow, sounds very important. Brushless motor, precision reducer, powerful, highly integrated temperature and position sensors, high speed communication. Hmm, sounds good. There's some information on this page that will give you a deep knowledge of it, but everybody might not come to the website. That doesn't mean that you can't, you know, reframe the information and share it with a different audience through your personal blog. What is this? The YS 342026 series. That's a whole other keyword. That's a whole other specific niche, this specific part that's, distinguishable between, whatever other model, the J288 model, right? So we look at these things and we know that these are very important components of a $51 billion industry. Now, when we talk about getting involved in industries that, you know, are multi-million dollar industries, like when you see a person do a presentation, they say, hey, this industry is going to be big, and they're showing the screenshots and they're showing the slides, and they say, hey, this is a multi-million dollar industry, and they're trying to sell you on a product or service because they're saying that, hey, this is something that a lot of people like and love. Now we know that, hey, this right here, this particular product, this one particular modular driver is part of a over $51 billion industry. Would you like to be part of that particular industry and be at the forefront of something that was just released and already has surged over 600% in the market? Imagine that showing up on a slide. Imagine that being your specific hook. Imagine you having a product or service that, goes hand in hand with this particular industry. Now, there was no affiliate link, which is something that I always look for, right? This is another reason why the site itself is often valuable, because most sites, depending on what type of company, they might have a section that says affiliate opportunity or something like that. No, this doesn't have it, but it still doesn't mean that you can't partner in a way with this company. What if you had a document that you sold, that you created, that gave you all of the best information about which components are the best, which model is the best, and where you can actually get it for the best prices at the lowest price? And matter of fact, this right here says Alibaba. You can get it on Alibaba. And thought just came to mind. I'm an actual affiliate for Alibaba. So if I was to create an article and put this link in there could possibly be a way for me to earn a commission on a $13,900 product. Think about that. When we talk about affiliate marketing, online marketing, there's more than one way to do it. So never let someone tell you that you have to do it their way specifically. Never let someone tell you that their way is the absolute only way to do it. Look at their way as being a foundational way of how they made it happen and how you can possibly use their knowledge and their blueprint and avoid various challenges and pitfalls. And you can actually recreate your own success road. So, with that, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. I know I kept you for a while on this. I didn't intend on going this long, but this information right here is so interesting to me that I can talk about this stuff all day. And that's why the hustle verse is different. That's why you need to link with the right people that have the right mindset. Don't just choose a business opportunity based off the idea that the product and service, hey, I can earn this amount of commission. Because, yes, everybody has the opportunity to earn the same commissions in your company, but everybody doesn't have the opportunity to be attached to the same leadership, the same people with the mindset that can actually help you unlock the success you want. So, with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed this food for action training, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.